Welcome back. It's me, Lou. All right, so today is going to be a mint in box review. Unfortunately, we are not going to unbox this 2-pack. The reason being, this is the chase, and I don't feel like I need to unbox this at this moment because I might buy the regular version down the road, and if I buy the regular version, I'll unbox that. But for me, I like having the Chase mint in box, and also I don't really have a full collection of these figures to like put on display. Even though I do have a handful of the older Remco figures from the 80s and some of the WWE Superstar figures and the Mattel figures. I don't know. I just want to keep this mint in box for now. So we're going to take a look at this. We have the GCW Deathmatch 2-pack, which is a Ringside exclusive. It features Deathmatch King Matt Cardona, formerly known as Zack Ryder in the WWE, and Nick Gage himself. All right, so if you're a wrestling fan, or more importantly, if you're a fan of indie wrestling, you'll remember the crazy death match between Matt Cardona and Nick Gage. It was one of those things where Matt Cardona was clearly out of his element, but it was such a smart move to like work Game Changer Wrestling because it kind of like reinvigorated his career and almost like reinvent, I don't want to say his character, but just reinvent, I think, or change the perception of who he was as a professional wrestler. Because forever people just knew him as Zack Ryder in the WWE, but this match just kind of like changed the course of his professional career. And for me, it was just kind of like a highlight in indie wrestling from the last 3 or 4 years. I'm a big fan of both wrestlers. Nick Gage was someone I was introduced to in the most craziest way. So there's a local promotion in Chicago called Galley Lucha Libre, and they have an arena called the Galley Arena. And one evening, maybe like 4 years ago, they rented it out to this promotion called Game Changer Wrestling, GCW. And it was going to be their first time in the Chicagoland area. And they were hosting the Nick Gage Invitational, which is a tournament of death matches. It's not like the kind of like garbage wrestling you see in like the WWE or AEW with like the tables and whatnot and the trash cans. This was like insane. It was like literally people trying to kill each other, and it was nuts. As soon as the event starts, one of the local announcers was calling it that night. Kirby, he goes in the ring, and the first thing he says, if there's any cops in the audience, get the F out. And after that, for the next like 3.5 hours, I witnessed the most violent wrestling ever. People were like bleeding buckets everywhere, and it was nuts. GCW, they're at the height of their popularity right now. And I kind of feel like they've mellowed out a little bit because back in the day, they were just known for death matches. I'm so glad that they've kind of moved beyond that. But there is a part of me that misses the days of when it was this crazy, insane, hardcore death match wrestling. And if you've seen this match, it's wild. Cardona is like bleeding everywhere. Nick Gage is doing his thing. And it's amazing. This 2-pack is fantastic. You get both wrestlers in their gear from that eventful night. I think the big selling point also is that you get the GCW title. And I want to say this might be the first GCW branded action figures, I think. I might be wrong on that. You get a cool light tube accessory. You get Nick Gage's trademark pizza cutter. You get alternate arms. For Zack Ryder, he has the middle finger. He has some gripping hands over here, and I think a fist. Nick Gage, his alternate hands features his gang symbols, and it's just amazing. Nick Gage is such a fascinating person to begin with. If you've seen that, I think he had that episode of Dark Side of the Ring. If you've seen that, or if you haven't seen it, check it out. It goes into his history. Very, very inspirational story, in my opinion. I met him in Las Vegas. Of all the wrestlers I've met, I think he was one of the nicest wrestlers I ever met in person, which is crazy because if you've seen his matches, he'll gut people like a stuck pig and people are bleeding everywhere. It's like ultra violent. but the human being, he's very inspirational, very motivating. And I just remember my first impression of him after I talked to him. I'm like, that's the nicest wrestler I've ever met in my life. And it's nuts. And as a Christmas gift, my brother got me a cameo from him. And it's just, I don't know. I think Nick Gage is the greatest. Matt Cardona, I think, is like incredibly underrated. He was let go by the WWE during the pandemic, and he not only like reinvented himself, he's kind of created this mini empire. And I kind of feel like at any given moment, he's going to make this crazy comeback. And it's nuts. I think it was like last night on the Emmys, like Paul Walter Hauser like called him out and cut this crazy promo and mentioned Cardona, and it's on the Emmys. You know, that's like mainstream. But this is a fun 2-pack. If you're a fan of either of these wrestlers or this form factor of wrestler, it's worth picking up. The package design is nice. And keep in mind, this is the Chase variant. The regular version features both wrestlers, but they're kind of like bloodied up. And since I'm not unboxing this, at the very least, we could take a look at a similar figure just to give you an idea of the articulation scheme and the quality of figures. This is also produced by Ringside Collectibles. This is their Road Warrior Hawk figure from their Road Warrior Hawk 2-pack, and it's a part of their Bell to Bell line of action figures. The form factor is very much inspired by the Remco figures from the 1980s and also the Masters of the Universe figures from Mattel. You're looking at a figure that's about 5.5 inches tall. The articulation's very limited. It's kind of a throwback to like the 80s. But the quality of the plastic's nice. The articulation's slightly updated, especially in the hips. But overall, you're getting a well-produced action figure. And, you know, the set's well-presented. It's very professional. The graphics are very quality. You know, you look at this, it doesn't look or feel like anything that's bootleg. It feels very official. And overall, it's a fantastic set. So, if you're a fan of indie wrestling, if you're a fan of GCW, if you belong to the MDK gang, I think this is well worth the purchase. So with that being said, let's wrap this one up. Once again, my name is Lou. If you're new to my channel, welcome. If you are a returning viewer or subscriber, thank you so much for your continued support. I greatly appreciate it. So until the next video, be safe, take care of yourself, buy lots of toys, and most importantly, be happy. And I'll see you at the next one. All right, later.